Hi everyone, so for today I've got a very quick little project that I'm going to be making. I'm going to be decorating a glass jar to put some treats in for Eddie, my little dog. Now I've got some paw prints here on the screen. I honestly can't remember where I've got these from, but there is a paw print very similar to this in the ScanNCut machine. And if you want to open it in Canvas Workspace just to have a look at it, the way you would do it would be open it on your ScanNCut machine, choose save it to Canvas Workspace, and then how you retrieve it is, and if you've got wireless, by the way, it will go straight over to Canvas Workspace. Now I'm in Canvas Workspace for computer here. You would go to File, Import from Cutting Machine, and FCM file, and it will appear on the map for you. So I've got mine here, I've grouped it and I've sized it roughly to 1 3/4 inches wide, and I've duplicated it so I've got 3. But I want to create a little bone to go with this file, and I can't see that there's a bone in the basic pattern shapes in any of the ScanNCut machines. So I'm going to create one. So I'm going to come to my basic shapes and I'm going to choose a circle. And I'm going to size it down to about 3/4 of an inch or thereabouts. I can make this bigger or smaller once I've finished. There you go, it's 0.77. I'm going to select it and duplicate it, and I'm going to overlap it just very slightly. I'm going to select both, align them up, say on the left edge, so I know that they both line up. And with them both selected, I'm going to, under the Edit tab over here on the right hand side, I'm going to weld. So that's what I've got now. So now I'm going to duplicate it, just position it over here, and then I'm going to bring in a rectangle. So I'm going to drag a rectangle, I'm going to select all 3 objects and center them, and then I'm going to weld this and see how it looks. If I don't like how it looks, I'm going to undo it and start again. So I've got the 3 objects selected and I'm going to hit weld. So now I've got my bone shape, and actually think that looks okay. So the total size of this now is 3.13. So I'm going to drag it out to make it about 3.5 inches wide. I'm going to come over to my text icon. You can do all this, by the way, in Canvas Workspace online. The only reason I'm using the computer-based version is because I want to use my own font. So I'm going to choose the text icon, click once on the page to bring the text box up, and I'm just going to type Eddie all in lowercase and hit enter. And then I'm just going to choose one of the fonts on my machine. You choose whichever one you prefer, make the project your own. I'm going to fill the bone with colour just so that you can see it a bit better on the screen. And I'm going to fill the text with white. So I filled the bone with black and the text with white, just so you can see it better on screen. I'm going to select both and centre them on the horizontal and the vertical. And that's now ready to cut. But I like to, basically these are still 2 separate items, and I like to punch, in this case, the name Eddie out of the bone, just so that it's all becomes one item, if you like. That's just how I like to do it. You don't have to do it this way. So with Eddie on top, I'm going to hit subtract, and now you can see that's punched through. It's one complete item now. It's not 2 items anymore. If I fill one of these with red and just bring this over, you'll see, you can see red through the name. Okay, as I say, that's just the way I like to do it. You don't have to do it that way at all. So I've got my little bone shape with my name, and that's about 3.5 inches wide, and I've got my little paw prints that are each about 1 3/4 inches wide by 1.5 inches high. So all as I have to do now is save this file or send it over wirelessly to my ScanNCut machine, and then I can cut these designs in vinyl and decorate my little glass jar. So to do that, I'm going to do it via Wi-Fi. I'm going to come to the top of the page. I'm going to choose File, export/transfer FCM file, because that's what we've made, an FCM cutting file. And I'm going to say transfer FCM file via the internet. That's going to send it over to my ScanNCut machine. Okay, so it says it's ready. I'm just going to click OK and the file will go over. So from here, I'm going to go to my ScanNCut machine and I'm going to retrieve the files and cut them in vinyl. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to retrieve the files. So I've got my ScanNCut machine on. I'm going to go to retrieve data from Canvas Workspace because that's where I made the file. And now I've got the shapes that I want. So to save some time, I've got a piece of black vinyl loaded onto my standard mat, which I'm just loading into the machine. I'm going to do a background scan and start and send this through so that I can position the shapes onto this piece of scrap vinyl. Now I've got my vinyl taped down with a bit of washi tape in the corners because it's been rolled and stored in a box for ages, and sometimes I find that vinyl doesn't always stick to the mat as we would want it to. So I can see my design there. I'm just going to bring that down, and then I'm just going to bring down these little paw prints. I might make one of them or two of them a bit smaller actually. So I'll just try and line those up just to save on the vinyl. So I'm going to say OK, 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 select and cut. But I'm going to go into the wrench. I'm going to scroll down one and put half cut on because I'm only cutting vinyl and I only want to cut through the top layer. And I've got my blue top vinyl blade which I'm going to put in the machine. You can do this with your ordinary blade, it's just that I've got all these different blades, so I am trying to, as much as possible now, use the blade for, you know, its use. So in other words, use the blue blade for the vinyl, use the gold top one for fabric, use the black one for other things. So I've got half cut on. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to say start and let this cut. Okay, so that's finished. I'm going to say OK and unload the mat. So I'm going to peel away the washi tape that I had holding my piece of vinyl down. Now this is outdoor vinyl. I'm not sure what make it is. I've said this before, I've had my vinyl for years. I buy like roll ends from a local sign writer. So I'm just going to cut this off and I can see where, and then obviously I'll keep the scrap and use that in another project. So I'm just going to cut my little paw prints apart because I don't actually know if I'm going to use them all yet. But I did them just in case. I'm going to peel away the waste from round the bone. And then I'm going to weed out the letters because I want the bone to have the name in it. So I'm just going to peel away the outside of the letters and leave the middle bit so that you can see what it is. Again, I want to leave that middle bit behind. This can be the fiddly bit, but once, you know, just take your time. So that's how I want it to look now on my jar, so I can throw that away. I've got a piece of transfer tape that I'm just going to put over here. and just cut it down just to make it a little bit more manageable. I'm just going to bring in my scraper tool and give that a good rub, and then I do the same from the back. And I find that it's easier to peel your vinyl backing away from your vinyl rather than trying to do it the other way around. So I put it face down and peel the backing away. So that's what I've got now. So that's going to go on my jar, which I have cleaned, but I'll just give it another wipe with a tissue. I have already wiped this over, but I'll just do it again. And usually I have a tea towel or something down on the desk and kind of roll it up to hold it in place, but I'm just going to pop the little spatula underneath it to stop it rolling. Then I'm going to get my little bone shape, place it down, and then again just give this a rub. And as I say, this is outdoor vinyl, probably the equivalent of something like Oracle 651 possibly is outdoor vinyl. And then I'm just going to peel this away ever so slowly. And because it's outdoor vinyl, obviously this can be washed. So with it being a treat jar, you know, then this can get washed. I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher, I would just hand wash it, but it is outdoor vinyl, so it's, you know, used to getting wet. So that's what I've got there. So now I've got my little paw prints. So let's just see what we can do with these. So I'm going to again just weed away the excess. And because I use that half cut, it's not, you know, gone through the vinyl. So I might put a little paw print on either side and maybe one on the lid. So I'm just going to bring in this piece of transfer tape that I've just used and just cut it down so it's smaller. And again, I'm just going to turn it over and peel the backing away. So I think we'll have like, I'll put one there. And again, just burnish this down. These are just a really, you know, quick, fun little project that you can make with scraps of vinyl. So that's one. I'll put the other one on the other side of the bone, I think. And then we'll have one on the lid. So I've got one there, I'll put one. Let's see, we've got one that way. I'll put one down here. And then this can have Eddie's little treats in it. And because it's got a nice sealed lid, it'll keep everything nice and fresh. Use that same piece of transfer tape. Give it a rub down to pick it up. And they're all types of different, they're all different types of transfer tape. You know, you can get the clear stuff, you can get this that looks like paper. This paper one, I think, is a bit more low tack than some of the clearer ones. But to be honest, again, I've had it years. It's in my box where I keep all my vinyl, and it's the one I kind of grab for the most, really. But no other reason. You could use clear. So there you go. So that's, so we've got little paw print on the top. It says Eddie. It's got the little paw prints on either side, and I'm going to fill that with treats. So I'll take a picture of it and it'll be in the thumbnail and it'll be over on the blog. And as I say, because I've used outdoor vinyl, this can be washed. So that's today's quick vinyl video. I hope you've found something useful in it. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.